Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you today, the lefties are eating the lefties because some of them are adopting gun rights, and the extreme left, oh, they are mad. I cannot wait to show you what's happening in the Los Angeles Times right now because they kicked a beehive, and I can't wait to walk you through the entire thing. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and let me hear you in the comments on this one. And please send this one up as you put on your bee suit so we don't get stung from the fury. And of course, guys, don't miss your opportunity to get the Liberty versus Tyranny shirt that we put out with 9line. This is a limited time design. It's got Liberty on one side, it's got Tyranny on the other, and attributes all up and down the root system of the trunk to the actual foliage, which gives you the outcome desired. There's a link in the description box below. I cannot wait I cannot wait until you guys get yours. It's going to stop selling on Friday, so make sure you don't miss out on that opportunity. And with that said, let's get into the gnashing of teeth, shall we? Oh, goodness gracious. This is one of those things, people. This is one of those things. Let's just dive in. I'm going to show you a few pieces of the article, and then I'm going to show you how the letters to the editor are big mad about the fact that the LA Times would actually dare inspire gun rights. Listen to this. At LA Progressive Shooters, a gun space for people sick of American gun culture. So I can imagine the LA Times journalist on this one was like, no, it's okay. It's called LA Progressive Shooters. What could go wrong? Everything could go wrong because you said guns. All right, let's keep going. Left big mad. This isn't a lesson for anyone eager to pull the trigger. Tom Wynn's teaching style is patient, aimed at demystifying an object many of his students have spent their lives fearing, even hating. Something of a leftist firearms whisperer, Wynn pokes fun at stereotypical American gun culture, mocking alpha male behavior at the John Wick film franchise and its video game levels of violence. Owning a gun doesn't have to define your personality, he preaches, and it doesn't mean you have to seek conflict. Being peaceful, he says, is not the same as being helpless or harmless. So I'm going to kind of ruin a little bit of the mystique here for the left. Everything that he just said is a majority of the conservative or the gun rights side of the training. It's not about being macho. It's not about being alpha male. In fact, most of the people are going to train for their firearms are not seeking that. They're seeking safety and proficiency. But they can't accept that because they have to understand that they're being radicalized. There has to be this extreme insanity. If you don't believe me, wait until I show you some of the things that they believe about the gun world as we go through this, because you already got a taste of it right there. But let's not let facts get in the way of what's happening. Listen to the people who are going to these classes just to give you an idea of the clientele. Among the students paying rapt attention inside a Norwalk martial arts studio is 42-year-old Nikki Shreves, who wears a sweatshirt with "Decolonize" written on the back over and over again, each iteration a different color of the pride flag. Is there any question where this person has represented themselves in the political spectrum? Anyway, she trembles slightly as Wynn places a disassembled Glock on the table in front of her. Wynn knows why the weapon fills her with dread, so he breaks it down to its components: a spring, a slide, a barrel. Then he says this: a gun is a tool to put holes in things, Wynn says in his gentle rasp that sometimes takes on a surfer bro affection. They are doing the exact same styles of training and teaching and communication that you see in gun rights groups. There is no difference, except the clientele doesn't wear politically charged attire and then tremble when a gun is disassembled in front of them. Like literally pieces of metal and plastic are put in front of them and they tremble. Okay? Now we're going to get to something else that I want to show you here, because we're starting to get into the area here where we're dispelling the fear. And that's why the people writing letters to the editor in response to this are pissed. Listen to this as we keep going. This might be a little bit longer of a video, but it has a very good point at the end. Check this out. Gun ownership has boomed in the U.S. over the last several years, including in California. Among those first-time gun owners are L.A. liberals, and more, those rookie shooters seek out Wynn, who started teaching basic pistol courses in 2020 under the banner L.A. Progressive Shooters. He's marketing directly to liberals. He meant that adjective as a beacon to some and as barricade to others. Okay, so he's literally choosing his market segmentation and directly marketing to them. It's very smart. Anyway, let's continue. You can come as you are, and you don't gotta bite your tongue and pretend you're someone else that you're not, he says. Why would you have to bite your tongue and say that you're not someone who you really are in the most accepting and open political spectrum as they self-market. The liberals and the progressives say that they love every single person. They say that there is no not person. There is no person that's illegal. There is no person blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, you come as you are. We love you because you are coming to us as you are. Unless you have a gun. In which case, you better pretend that you are something that you aren't in case we exercise you. Literally, that's what they're saying right here. Let's continue because it gets even worse. I mean, this is really telling of where this article is. Then we get to the part where the leftists are coming in hard. While he rejects what he describes as the stereotypical American gun culture, a nationalistic, conservative space with little room for diversity of thought or appearance, says the guy who just said you can come as you are so your friends don't ostracize you. Anyway, let's continue. That's not the point. Wynn also says he's trying to dispel the inherent disgust some left-leaning friends have for firearms, an inanimate object. They are instilling hatred towards an inanimate object because they've been brainwashed to do so. There's no way to say it nicer than that. They have been told to fear it and hate it, and therefore they do. All the while, they're going to a progressive firearms instructor saying you don't have to pretend who you are. You can be who you truly are to protect yourself from the leftist wrath. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Here's more. It's always a dirty secret. I always feel like before 2020, being a gun owner in liberal progressive spaces was like being in the closet. Like you didn't want people to know you had a gun because you would be judged or looked at a certain way. Like, is there something wrong with you? These are the people espousing the beliefs that there is no wrong idea and approach to life. There is no one truth unless it conflicts with their truth. The reason this is such an important piece is you're getting an insight into people's perspectives that conflict directly with their worldview completely, but they're still adopting the gun world, but they're trying to do it in a way where they don't get ostracized. Do you see the balancing act that's going on here? Let's continue. We get this. We're cooking with all cylinders, all gas. Oh, we're on fire. Let's keep going. Listen to this. Michael Schwartz, executive director of San Diego County Gun Owners Political Action Committee, said that while he's supportive of Wynn's mission, he thinks his assessment of the traditional gun owner leans too heavily on tropes from the left. Let's continue. The stereotype is gone. Firearms as a hobby are very common in the Asian community and the Hispanic community, and that's not who we think of, Schwartz said. Growing up, a gun owner was somebody out of Duck Dynasty, which is a trope, which is a stereotype. Now, the thing that I want to focus on right here, that part where it's very popular in the Asian community, do you think that's any coincidence to why we covered how the NBC article was saying there's misinformation and disinformation focused on Chinese American chat groups with gun rights? You think there's any correlation to that? They are trying to put up their barriers to stop their people from exploring freedom. They're putting the walls up more and more and more. That's what you're seeing right here. But anyway, the people in Party of Inclusion are saying that we're all like out of Duck Dynasty. Anyway, she soon told the class, this is back to the woman who had the decolonized shirt on. When she was young, her uncle was murdered during a carjacking in Koreatown. For the longest time, the guns in her house were a source of fear, a hot stove she was afraid to touch. Quote, in my head, I'm like, what if somehow I make the gun blow up and then I hurt myself or somebody next to me? That's the clientele that they're marketing to, all the while trying to hide who they really are from their other fellow liberal and progressives because the party of liberal and progressiveness, who is so open, will ostracize them for being different than them. Okay, now let's get to the part where the letters to the editor come out here. This is gold. Letters to the editor. Liberals don't need to get a gun because everyone else has one. Here's the first one. To the editor. The Times has just ensured that no space is without a firearm. The front page coverage of the left-leaning gun instructor who provides his services to otherwise liberal folks because, quote, I don't want to be the only one not to have one is a miserable excuse to increase the number of gun violence deaths owing to unsafe gun storage. The prevalence of guns contributes to accidental gun deaths, suicides, and homicides from domestic conflict. Those of us working to stem the onslaught of such needless death know that suicide rates decline when the lethal means is not at arm's length when a person is having a rough day. Owing to your coverage, we can expect an increase in gun violence in all areas of our community. Amy Luster Muller. And one more. To the editor. The United States leads the world in per capita civilian firearm ownership, with more guns than people in this country. Our gun-related death rate is higher than all of our peer nations. Your article feeds the gun lobby's circular, paranoid talking point that a gun is needed to help keep one safe from people with guns. Provide facts rather than emotion. More than 300 people are shot every day in America, and about 1/3 of them die. Firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens in the United States. This is literally copy and pasted from Givers.org, Moms Man Action, Every Time for Gun Safety, and it is riddled with fear, emotion, and lies. Anyway, let's continue. A gun in the home increases the likelihood of homicide, suicide, or an unintentional shooting. A woman is 5 times more likely to be killed if her abusive partner has a gun. Disagreements escalate more quickly to injury and death when a firearm is present. The list goes on. More guns equals more gun deaths. The writer is board chair of Women Against Gun Violence, who has the exact same copy and talking points of all the national gun control groups targeting against the LA Times for daring to have liberals and progressives seek training to protect themselves. It is comical watching them eat themselves because the real world is actually striking these people. But what do you guys think of that? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.